Layers of the past beneath the desert floor. We're finding keys to unlock every ancient door. Digging through the clay to see what's real. The silence speaks, we're breaking every seal. Unearthing the Bible.
For decades, a dominant academic consensus called biblical minimalism argued the historical books of the Old Testament were written centuries after the events they describe. These critics argued that the dense lists of ancient officials and kings were merely fictional filler, designed to make myths sound like authentic history. The biblical accounts detailing the brutal, chaotic fall of Jerusalem in 586 BC were primary targets for this skepticism. To modern scholars, the biblical record of the Babylonian siege was a masterfully crafted work of historical fiction, rather than an account of actual events. Jeremiah chapter 39 describes the terrifying climax of that siege. Babylonian commanders breached the northern wall, poured into the city, and established an occupational court at the gate. Verse 3 lists the exact Babylonian dignitaries who assumed control of the burning city. Buried in that list is a completely minor character, Nebo-Sarsekim, the chief eunuch. This figure performs no actions and appears nowhere else in recorded history. For critics, he was a clear literary fabrication. If this highly specific name is proven to be a ghost, it confirms the critics' claim that the entire text is a mythological invention. In 1875, archaeologists operating 20 miles from modern-day Baghdad began excavating the ancient Babylonian city of Sippar. Researchers unearthed thousands of ordinary clay tablets recording routine administrative tasks. These records were shipped to the UK, catalogued, and then largely forgotten for over a century. Because there were tens of thousands of these routine banking receipts, they remained unread in climate-controlled museum drawers for decades. In 2007, Dr. Michael Jerza was studying the development of the Babylonian economy when he examined artifact BM 114789. The evidence needed to settle a century of high-minded academic debate turned out to be a dusty 2-inch piece of banking paperwork. The tablet revealed a receipt for a 1.6-pound gold transfer to a pagan temple. But as this matrix shows, the receipt clearly records the Babylonian official's name. The cuneiform Nebo-Sarsekim is the direct linguistic equivalent of the Hebrew Nebo-Sarsekim. The title, Rab Shah Reshi, exactly matches the rank recorded in Jeremiah. This obscure, supposedly fictional character was a living military officer, operating exactly as the Bible described. The linguistic match is only half the story. The receipt contains a highly specific date stamp. It records the transaction occurring on the 18th day of the 11th month in the 10th year of King Nebuchadnezzar's reign. This date translates precisely to the year 595 BC on the modern calendar. As the timeline shows, 595 BC is exactly 9 years prior to the final breach of Jerusalem. This proves the biblical text identifies the correct military officer in Nebuchadnezzar's army right before the siege began. This artifact is a secular, pagan banking receipt with no religious agenda. A scribe inventing a myth centuries later could never have known the name and title of a mid-level officer dropping off gold 9 years before the war. The inclusion of this minor detail indicates that the author of Jeremiah possessed authentic, first-hand knowledge of the Babylonian military. By verifying the quietest details of history, archaeology demonstrates that the biblical record is rooted in verifiable facts.